I'm Alex Watson. I am the director and writer of Take Me Out. How JWAP Productions came to the point that it is today, I started off in a little tiny apartment basement. A family of like 5 lived above us, and then me and my roommate decided to start taking film seriously. We were making fun little shorts at the beginning, but we were like, let's make things happen. So his name is Jimmy, my last name is Watson, and all my friends call me Watson, so we decided to call it JWAP Productions. We started a serious company and started making commercials and music videos. We won our first award, the Salt Lake City Comedy Award for Best Film. Our film was called Party Pooper, which we actually make a little reference to in the movie. Also, my good friend Arthur, who I went to high school with, we worked together outside of JWAT. I kind of pulled him in and we kind of started just making things. We made a documentary together called Journey of a Fan Film, which this last year of 2015 won the Fan Film Awards for Star Wars, because it was a Star Wars fan film. Documentary about a fan film. We won Audience Choice and Best Nonfiction, and so after that, a lot of awesome opportunities have happened, and a lot of people were asking me, "What's next? What are you going to do next? What are you going to do next?" And I'm really excited to say that this is what I decided to do next. How I came up with the idea for the project was we used to do a horror movie every year. I was looking through different ideas, and usually it was a zombie movie. But we were thinking about it, and I just kind of wanted to try things differently for once. I wanted to take this short a lot more serious, like I've been doing all my projects recently, and so I started to just kind of thinking about what I had available. I came to the conclusion that I had music people available, I had art people available. What would be perfect is something like old-timey, and so I started looking up old music on public domain. The song "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" popped up, and my brain went crazy. I was just like, how crazy awesome would it be if we do a 1950s stylized horror movie, but we throw in a modern-day serial killer who is ruthless and kills people to take me out to the ball game. So it started so small, and now it's just something that I'm really excited to see finished.
Hi, I'm Arthur Kemp, and I am a producer and the cinematographer for Take Me Out. 3 years ago, I think, is when I started working with Watson. Man, it seems so long now. Like, we started working together, and then we started filming together, and we've just kind of been working ever since. The first project that I worked with on JWAP Productions would be You, Me, and Him. We are very fond of You, Me, and Him, and it was a very fun little project. So if you know Watson gets very excited. I don't get very excited, like, ever, and much to Watson's dismay. Like, I'm never excited about things. It's like I'm this stone wall without emotions. But he tells me about his idea for Take Me Out, and he plays all this music and sound effects, and he really pitched it to me. What I really like about Take Me Out, though, is, well, I love the 1950s setting. I love black and white. I love the idea of only seeing the blood, red being the only color, shown in the film.
What we've done different for Take Me Out than what we've done ever before is we've really stuck to the book. We were in pre-production at least 2.5 months before we actually started casting and filming things, and we were, I wrote the script and we went over different revisions and things like that, and I've done that before, but this was a lot more serious, and we wanted the script to just be solid and tell a great story. Recently, we've always stuck to shot lists, and it's always been the best, but this time around we've tried, we did storyboarding, and we've stuck a lot with that, and that's been really great and help with that. We've done auditions plenty of times, but I don't think I've never had an audition where I was sitting there thinking so hard about who I was going to cast. I was like, this person's so good, but this person is also good. What do I do?
Hi, I'm Angelique Penrod. I play Laurie in Take Me Out. And when I was first approached by this project, it was actually very intriguing because of the set and what it was supposed to be like. When Watson first approached me and said that he had this horror film idea and it was supposed to be set in the 50s, like, oh my gosh, how's that gonna work out? And he told me more about the story and how everything was supposed to fit together, and I'm like, oh, okay, this sounds really, this could be really cool and really interesting, as long as it's done well, but of course it turned out great.
Angelique was someone who we've always wanted to put as a lead in one of our movies. She was so great in one of the zombie movies we made, and she was just a zombie in the background, and then we had her for a promo thing we did for our radio show, and so it was just we wanted her from the beginning.
Hi, my name is Michaela Iverson, and I am playing Chrissy in Take Me Out. My first impressions of the project, I just thought how cool it sounded. They didn't tell us much with the audition, but I knew that if I was coming in auditioning with a 1950s commercial, then it was going to be a really fun project that we were about to start. I have done a horror film before. I played an imaginary friend that convinced a little girl to kill both her parents and her aunt.
My name's Ricky Ferlin. I'm playing Casey, the serial killer. And let's see, I got myself roped into this because, I like being scary. And because Alex Watson, he's awesome. First thing that I thought when I heard about the project was that, I thought it would be fun to play a bad guy. I am often typecast on stage as the good guy, but anytime I'm thrown on film, for some reason I'm always put as the bad guy. My last film project that I did, it was called Remnants for the Vortex Film Festival. I played like a hillbilly, kind of backwoods character who was supposed to be threatening to eat a girl. And so that was my first foray into being bad. And so now that I'm the big bad of a movie, it's kind of got me excited.
What's funny is our serial killer, who is Ricky, he's actually a very nice, loud, enthusiastic guy. And I do comedy with him, improv comedy. And I remember there was one time where he just played this really creepy dude on stage, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, he is actually creepy when he wants to be, he's super nice, and he's like seriously one of the coolest guys I know, and like, so, and he just was this really tall, kind of, big build guy, kind of like Michael Myers, and so I was like, oh man, I think he could be really good. So, bless his heart and his wife, I gotta thank them because they got married during the production, so thank you for taking the time and letting us use both of you, because his wife was on special effects, and so really got to thank them for that.
My character, Laurie, she is very stuck in this timepiece. You first meet her and she's happy-go-lucky and very bubbly like everybody else. Something happens to her and she ends up changing. It really messes with her head, and she goes from being that happy peppy like everybody else to being normal and reacting to the situation very realistically. The way she's coping and putting pieces together, it's messing with her more and more and more, and nobody else can see it until finally she doesn't snap per se, but she just changes, and it's very obvious that she changes. And everybody else just seems to be blind to it. So I think it's really cool to be able to portray that, because it's really, really flexing my muscles as far as, range and emotions, and trying to think, okay, if this were to happen to me, how would I react normally? Okay, now do it. How would she react in this world, in this 1950s setting? Of the television show, with everything being so over the top. And it was really fascinating to explore that and really play with it, to make it come to life and really make it jump out.
Chris's character, she's just innocent, she's just she's that 1950s character on a TV show, just the happy peppy best friend, that typical. Just think of kind of like Grease. Some of those characters, they're just so happy about everything, and that's how I see her. I find it very interesting that Chrissy is actually the only one that doesn't get killed among all of her friends. While they're all getting massacred, she just faints, and then he kind of forgets about her after Laurie lures the killer away. And so, yeah, I think that's really interesting, and I feel like her character doesn't have much of an arc just because she's just so happy, all the time. And so she just continues on with life even after things happen to her.
In my character, the serial killer, the first time I looked through the script, I thought, man, he's pretty gruesome. He doesn't pull back any punches. He knows what he wants, goes after it, and he doesn't care who gets in his way. I think it's just that, there's no mercy there. I mean, he goes crazy. So my character kind of starts off with, I don't know, he almost seems like the more creeper type. Like, you're not expecting much from him. Once the killing begins, it's all a head full. There's no stopping it. And the thing that I like about it is when it comes to that point at the very end, whenever Casey hears his name for the first time, and everything just kind of breaks, and it's that moment where you're like, oh, hang on a second, there's something more behind what he's been displaying. I think that's going to be a cool moment. When it comes to stereotypes in horror movies, I think Joss Whedon did it perfectly in Cabin in the Woods, because obviously, you got your nerd, the virgin survives until the end, the jock and the promiscuous one die first, of course. And obviously we're not quite going with that in this scenario. The most stunning moment, I don't know, I'd hate to say it goes all Game of Thrones on you, but it kind of does, because you're thinking, all right, maybe this character will survive, or maybe this character will survive. Yeah, you can't have any expectations, because Casey's crazy, and we're breaking the norm on this. It's a lot of fun. So the setting of the 1950s kind of a style, that got me really excited, because about a year ago I played George Bailey in a stage show of It's a Wonderful Life. We had all sorts of commercials in between scenes where we'd go and advertise for Duck's Toilet Cake or other 1950s products. And the idea of kind of that 1950s camp of where they're all always just happy and super joyful and, hi darling, I'm home, just super, super ridiculously cheesy, juxtaposed against this modern day horror monster, this serial killer, this icon that you wouldn't see until, I don't know, like Freddy Krueger came along, or Mike Myers from Halloween. And oh man, it's this mix that is just so opposite that it makes for, I think, an amazing story. And the fun part about it is just with that black and white style and the red blood that pops, it's I think it's something that I haven't seen done very often in film before, and I think it'll definitely set us apart.
We wanted to go all out. Like, I think what makes a good film is the little details. For example, we got a 1950 Ford car, and we didn't have to have the car. We could have still made the film without it. People would have still believed it was 1950s, but it's just another element that was added to it. We also have all this awesome art that's done by an artist who is inspired of the 1950s, and then also I got to talk to one of my favorite artists who lives in France, Proletaire. I might be saying that wrong because all the Americans probably say it wrong, but he does a lot of the music for the movie, and he gave permission after I told him the idea, and that was really cool. So I think the biggest thing that sets us apart from the other films we've done is it's all or nothing. It's kind of what we're trying to do. I mean, like with locations, with actors and actresses, with props. I mean, we have authentic props we're using in this film, which is awesome. And we're trying some really hardcore editing stuff that I think is going to be a lot of good, and everything's going to pay out in the end. It's awesome that I can just focus on directing and focus on shots and focus on actors and focus on making sure everything's good. And it's awesome is that we, our crowdfunding, which we had so much support, and we actually are looking like we're going to get funded, which is so cool. And yeah, it's been awesome. And really, like, you really appreciate the hard work that people put in here. Like Arthur, he's done such a good job at picking the shots and having the shots, and helping out with the crew, and also Will, doing behind the scenes, and also picking up if there needs to be something else. He's been really good at that. And Melissa, who's been our production manager, who's basically just helped do everything that made our lives a lot easier, and she seriously has been a lifesaver to a lot of us. And really, like, I love the cast, and really I'm just excited to see everyone's hard work come together in the end, see all the acting pay off, and honestly, I think everyone else who watches it is going to enjoy it too, in one aspect or another. I remember taking my mom out to lunch and telling her the idea, and her reaction was, "Oh my gosh, that's just awful." And I was like, "Yes, that's the reaction I want." And I never really wrote such a gruesome movie before, but I really enjoy serial killers, and well, that sounds weird, but I enjoy serial killer movies. My favorite serial killer is Michael Myers. I really enjoy the old-time slasher films. Also, fun fact is everyone in this movie is named after a person who was killed in a horror movie, except for two, which is the main character, Laurie, and Mr. Loomis, who actually are both named after characters from Halloween. Also, and I was thinking about where this takes place, and I chose Plainfield, Wisconsin, because that's the place where Ed Gein was notoriously caught, and Ed Gein was a serial killer who inspired such movies as Psycho and Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs. So I just thought that could be a nice little homage. And yeah, we have tons of little homages in there. So I kind of just thought if you're a fan of horror like I am, you'll definitely pick up on a lot of the things from there as well.
What I really like about Take Me Out, though, is, well, I love the 1950s setting. I love black and white. I love the idea of only seeing the blood, red being the only color shown in the film. What's great about Take Me Out is we're trying really hard to do as many effects in camera, and that's what I find is the most effective way to do it. And just a lot of blood, a lot of violence, and a little gore, and I love it, honestly. It's sadistic. It's kind of, I don't know, I guess you either love it or you don't. The acting is old school, the cinematography is more modern. I just love being melodramatic. I love just over-the-top acting, and this just has a bunch of that, and yeah, really, really fun. But really, my goals were to make as much contrast and moody, kind of atmospheric moments, lots of shadows. When you're shooting in black and white, you gotta have lots of shadows, you gotta have lots of dramatic lighting. Take Me Out is unique for JWAT because I would say this is the highest production values of a film that we've done, and it's definitely the biggest crew, biggest budget. We've had a GoFundMe campaign raising money for the budget. We've had instead of a skeleton crew, we actually have a crew of people to move lights, to supervise the script. Just a lot of things where, let's face it, having 3 or 4 guys can be very difficult. It's nice to have more people to help out.
This is also one of our first times with special effects. A lot of blood, and I'm very excited about it. And I gotta tell you, it's really awkward writing some of those scenes and telling some of those scenes. I got people being like, this is very creative how you killed this person, but I'm worried about you. When I first started showing off the script, everyone really liked the ending, so I'm really excited to film the ending and show the ending, because it kind of has a nice little twist to it that we don't really see a lot in movies nowadays. One of my awesome dreams is that we got permission from a local artist to use his art, Panda Propaganda Basie, and he actually made us a custom print that's he printed on a metal shelf thing. It's super cool. It's in Laurie's room. And it's just crazy how much, like, you tell people an idea, and if they like it enough, they help out. And I guess that's why we were successful with crowdfunding, and successful with the music, and successful with the art, and we just keep getting more and more success. So, regardless if this film gets anywhere, I'm very proud of it, and we haven't even finished it yet, as of right now. You're probably watching this and you've seen it, but I'm very proud of where we are, and I'm very proud of all those that have helped. And what our main goal for this production, we all, not only are we're learning more about sticking to the book with production, but we do want to extend this out into festivals, and if anything, gain experience of being out in festivals. We've been watching and studying a lot of videos and documentaries about festivals and how you go about doing that, and it's going to be a great experience. If for this movie, awesome, but if not, we just gotta understand that sometimes the only payout for submitting into festivals is the understanding and learning of submitting into festivals. And so, if someone came up to me and said, "Hey, I will pay you whatever you want. What do you want to do with this movie?" I would probably say, I want to make a feature, and I want to make it awesome. It's already awesome. But just feature awesome. And something like that, like even if it went to like I would love it if it was even just like a TV movie or something like that. I think it could be something that a very niche audience would love, but the people who do love it will love it. Literally last night, Arthur and I went through our old videos, and we're watching a few of them just to kind of get a chuckle at the mistakes we made, but also some of the good things we did. One of the big mistakes is in our first, we did this TV series called You, Me, and Him, and we had we mixed lighting. We had tungsten lighting with daylight lighting, and it just looked awful. And so but that's the thing, is like that we learned from that, and then we moved on. I noticed that our films were looking good, but maybe the acting wasn't as great as I'd want it. And so I just realized that the reason that is because I was so focused on everything else and not focused on just the directing and of the actors. And so we got to do that. And then, sound quality, like the problem that I've had in the past was that I was running sound and then I was directing, and then I was editing, and then I was, shooting a lot of the time.
Our plans for Take Me Out are to enter it into festivals, and we haven't quite made the decision as to which festivals we want to enter it in and premiere at, but that's definitely our ultimate goal, to enter it into festivals, get some recognition that way, and hopefully just, get people to see it and enjoy it. What I've really loved about the cast and crew working on Take Me Out is I have had a blast, whether it's murdering someone, whether it's just someone being over the top, sleazy greaser, trying to make out with his girl. We've had some great actors, and it's been a lot of fun. And we're taking it seriously. By all means, we are. But we have had so much fun, and that's what's great about it. And everyone's been extremely helpful, and everyone has been very generous with their time, considering our budget. so yeah, it's really been a great experience. What was great about this particular film is that we just had a lot of people in a lot of little roles. For example, I think we have just 10 people who are just here to die. And I really appreciate their effort, because yes, it's a little role, but it's so fun and it really makes the movie. And during one scene where they were pushing bicycles, and the bicycles had no riders, and the bicycle it went off the sidewalk and straight into the river. And it was hilarious.
And I've always enjoyed working with the crews and the cast that ends up getting paid, because I always feel like they really, for whatever the project is, the cast always meshes really well, and it's a huge part of making a project work. And Alex Watson, Arthur Kemp, Scott Hanks, Craig, everybody just knows exactly what's going on and how to make it work and flow and collaborate together. And I feel like that's very important for a project, to make it work and to help the project go along and really bring everybody to do the best they possibly can. So it's always fun whenever I get approached or I find out that they're doing another project. It's like, oh, I want to be involved, because they're very professional. They know what they're doing, and especially with what we have available to us, I feel like the quality is really good too. So it's always a pleasure to be able to work with cast and crew of JWAT and any JWAT production.
I can't wait to have a finished product to show everyone and just let everyone show off just how great they are. Because, we can't do it with everyone else, obviously. So it's just great to have so many great people to work with. And yeah, I can't wait for it to be finished.
It's been an overall amazing process. I look forward to whatever comes next.
3 strikes, you're out at the All Ball